Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and welcome to my show, The Jet Zone, right here on Sports War Radio. If you're listening to the audio-only version of this podcast, also streaming live simultaneously in three different places: the Jet Zone Facebook page, the Jet Zone Twitter page, and of course on YouTube, youtube.com/Boy Green25. And you see me if you're watching the live stream. I'm wearing the official Boy Green merch. There you go. A little bit of it, Boy Green. We also have the Boy Green pint glasses. Again, YouTube description down below for all the deets if you'd like. And boy, did we get a juicy silver platter topic to talk about on today's podcast, which again, it's a weekly New York Jets podcast, new episodes every Wednesday on the show. Baker Mayfield finally has been traded, and of course, it's to the Carolina Panthers, who had Sam Darnold, to the New York Jets traded just last April. Wow. There's a lot to dive into, and I've got several nuggets here written on my sheet that I want to get into. Feel free, by the way, folks, throughout today's program. This is an interactive program. This is an interactive show, which means I need something from you, and you could get something from me. Make sure you like the video. Hit subscribe down below for exclusive New York Jets content all day, every day, live streams, interviews, and fun other videos as well. And in exchange, why don't you get involved on the show wherever you're watching? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. On Twitter, you're going to have to actually go into one of the other apps, but drop a question, drop a topic, whatever you'd like here on the program, and we'll get into it as well. Also, I got to give a shout out in case you guys missed the news. It kind of was spontaneous, kind of spur of the moment, but I'll be doing a new weekly show every Monday on the Buffalo Jet Fan YouTube channel. I'll be doing an hour show, 8 to 9 o'clock at night. Make sure you guys go check out the Buffalo Jet Fan on YouTube, and we'll be doing weekly shows with Q&A, mailbag. That'll be starting this Monday, and we'll be doing that throughout the season, off season, everything else. So another place where you can hear me yam about all things gangrene. So guys, make sure you go check that out again. Buffalo Jet Fan for that. But let's get into this. So in case you missed it, the Cleveland Browns have traded Baker Mayfield to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a conditional 2024 fifth-round pick. Now, this is pending a physical. Baker Mayfield apparently is on vacation right now. He's going to be flying in to Carolina to take his physical. He passes said physical, the trade is complete. If he does not, well, we get all kinds of funky. But from all reports, it seems like he is expected to pass said physical. He did have some surgery earlier in the offseason, but he, according to pictures, photos, and things of that nature, he is no longer in a sling or anything of that nature. So it does seem like, from that perspective, sorry, caught like a fly in my mouth. That's gross. But speaking of, that means that trade is going to happen. Now, you may be asking yourself, Paul, you're a New York Jets digital reporter. This is a New York Jets show called The Jet Zone. You may say, like, Boy Green, what the heck does this have to do with anything Jets related? You could be asking yourself that, and I will tell you simply this, is that there's a lot of connective tissue here. First off, the Jets play the Browns week 2 of this season. Now, not a lot of people expected Baker Mayfield to be on the roster in one form or fashion, but the fact of the matter is Baker Mayfield is better than Jacoby Brissett, the rocket scientist from Tennessee. Baker Mayfield is better than Jacoby Brissett, the veteran quarterback. So let me reset that, actually. He's better than Jacoby Brissett, who's a longtime backup, got a short stint there in Indianapolis. He's better than Joshua Dobbs, is the rocket scientist from Tennessee. He's better than that guy. And obviously, he's not better than Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson is likely facing a lengthy suspension. And according to the latest from the Washington Post, the NFL is pushing for upwards of a year suspension. And even in the most modest estimations of said suspension, it's expected to be between 6 and 8 games. So if you batch all that together in a week 2 matchup, the Jets are likely not playing Deshaun Watson in week 2. So that means their only options prior to today were Jacoby Brissett, Joshua Dobbs, and Baker Mayfield. And now Baker Mayfield has been removed from the puzzle. So it's Jacoby Brissett or Joshua Dobbs. And folks, I said this when the schedule dropped back in May, that for all the fans that were overreacting, going, boo-hoo, this schedule's tough. They've got a tough start to the season. I told you it is a quarterback-driven league. That's what it is. It is a quarterback-driven league, and how good the teams are or how they're perceived is based on the quarterbacks that they have in the room. And when you look at that first batch of games, again, against AFC North, first time that's ever happened. Of course, they got the MVP and Lamar Jackson week 1. Sure, that's going to be tough. Week 2, you've got Jacoby Brissett or Joshua Dobbs. My perception completely changes of that game, whether I was playing Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, even if he did play, he would be rusty after not playing for a year. But let's put that aside. So you get Jacoby Brissett or Joshua Dobbs. Okay, the defense is tough. Myles Garrett's a freak. You got to figure out how the heck you're blocking that guy. And we'll get into that as we get into the game week of to talk about all that jazz. But Jacoby Brissett, Joshua Dobbs, LOL. Then you go to week 3. Okay, Joe Burrow, but the Jets beat Joe Burrow last year. And then you go to week 4, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mitch Trubisky, some rando first-round bust scrub, or Kenny Pickett, who's a unnamed, know-nothing rookie. Like, come on, man. So that's what I look at. So immediately, there's an immediate ripple effect from that perspective. Although, and that's cool, and circle that and put that on there. But the biggest nugget, of course, is looking back at the Sam Darnold trade to begin with, which happened last April before the Jets. Not this past April that just happened, the April of 2021, where the Jets traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers. They got 3 draft picks for Sam Darnold, a second, a fourth, and a sixth. They got 3 picks for Sam Darnold. And by the way, I think it's worth noting, and why the headline of this video is, whoa, Jets are even bigger winners of the Sam Darnold trade. Like, a lot of people, I think, thought at the time, including myself, that, whoa, wow, that's way better than I would have thought for Sam Darnold. But then when you just see what Baker Mayfield went for, folks, let's try to put this in perspective. Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold is. That is not a hot take. That is not anything. That's just plain facts. Here are the stats. I pulled it up for my article. Again, you can check out this full story and the Jets ripple effects from it. It's on Heavy on Jets. Just go to heavy.com in the Jets section. Here are the stat comparisons. They both, of course, we all remember, were both in the 2018 NFL draft. Baker Mayfield was a number 1 pick. Sam Darnold was a number 3 pick. And now they're in the same quarterback room down there in Cleveland. So they've each had 4 years of sample size. Here are the numbers. Baker Mayfield's touchdown interception ratio in his first 4 seasons are 92 touchdowns to 56 interceptions, essentially 2-1. Sam Darnold's 54 touchdowns to 52 picks. Disgusting. I mean, that's terrible. Let's go to passing yards. Sam Darnold, 10,000 passing yards, 10,624 to be specific. Baker Mayfield, 14,125. He has basically another 4,000-yard season on top of what Sam Darnold's done in the same amount of time. The Jets got a 2nd, 4th, and a 6th for Darnold. All the Browns got was a conditional 5th. What the heck? Joe Douglas is a gosh darn magician. As far as I'm concerned, he is a wizard. You know what? You talk about the greatest wizards of all time, Gandalf, Merlin, Joe Douglas. He's right there in that power ranking, baby. Wow. The wizardry, the majesty to find a way to get that done is absolutely exceptional. And we thought it at the time, but the story only grows the more that you hear about all this. So Baker Mayfield, vamos. He is now going to Carolina, which, by the way, the Browns, let's just be frank, completely butchered this entire situation. There's a lot of Jet fans out there, and we don't have to get crazy into this. They wanted Deshaun Watson, right? We were willing, prior to Zach Wilson being drafted, hey, we're willing to do whatever it takes to get this Deshaun Watson guy, young star quarterback in the league. And wow, he looks good. Of course, there was all the off-the-field stuff, which, again, you have to come to terms with, and Cleveland Browns fans are doing that in their own way, where some are and some aren't. But the fact of the matter is that they were willing to do whatever it takes to go get Deshaun Watson. And now, okay, they now have this just convoluted situation here where Sam Darnold, okay, the Jets were able to flip him, get 3 picks. And for the Browns, going back to the point of this, I'm getting all over the place here. There's a lot of things to get to. The point is that the Browns butchered this. They had Baker Mayfield, and they said, you know what? Keeping Baker Mayfield wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Shoulder surgery and everything else that happened at the back end of last year, right? So, not bad. But they were flirting with him, going after someone better. And they figured and assumed that would be Deshaun Watson. Now, the Browns pursued Deshaun Watson while Baker Mayfield was still on the roster, telling everyone in the league that, hey, you know what, especially after they traded for him, where they had Deshaun Watson on the roster, Baker Mayfield on the roster. Then they added quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett, Joshua Dobbs. They had a 4-quarterback room, and it was the worst kept secret in the NFL that the Browns are not keeping Baker Mayfield. So he whatever value he may have gone for, I don't know, a third rounder, a fourth rounder. I got no idea what his true value was before they flubbed it up, but ultimately goes for a conditional fifth. They overplayed their hand. They had to pay half of his salary. We don't know the particular financials. At least I don't yet. Ian Rappaport said they split the financials. I'm not sure if it was a 50-50 split, 60-40 split. We jumped on the show shortly after the trade became official. However, the Browns are paying him to play for somebody else. They're paying him to play for somebody else, and then they got a 5th-round pick. And the Jets, for Sam Darnold, got 3 picks. And by the way, those 3 picks are going to be looking pretty valuable. Of course, we'll just see. We'll see what happens, because obviously these picks still have to figure themselves out. But it seems like Joe Douglas is a gosh darn wizard. And again, so Browns week 2, that's the direct storyline. No Baker Mayfield there. And I assume no Watson, so you're getting Brissett or Dobbs. That's great news. And by the way, talk about the NFL schedule makers just balling, calling it. Week 1, Cleveland Browns at the Carolina Panthers. I'm not kidding. So Baker Mayfield will get his immediate revenge. Okay, his immediate revenge, which is absolutely hilarious. So I'm looking for a circle that week 1 game on the docket. Browns at Panthers. Man, the NFL schedule makers, they know something we don't. Let's welcome a bunch of people in. Again, wherever you're watching, feel free to drop a question, comment, topic, if you'd like, here on the podcast, and we'll get to you. Justin Jets on YouTube. I called this from the beginning. I'm not a YouTuber, but I was so confident Sam would fail with the Panthers. I made a video about it before last season started. I was flamed for that opinion. Justin, I'll be honest, I'm on the other side. I thought Sam Darnold would do well. I was a Sam Darnold truther. While there was a lot of turnovers, the same turnover problems he had at USC, I thought he would be good. You got Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore. You look at all those, Robbie Anderson. You look at all these weapons, right? And you're like, wow, okay, he'll be good. I thought so. And but I still thought the package the Jets got was good. 2-4-6. I was like, whoa. But interesting. But there you go, Justin. You nailed that. That was terrible. Morris, 1 day closer to the Super Bowl. Yes, sir. Let's go. We are 1 day closer. That's a good way to do it. I love it. LHC, Joe Douglas could sell ice to a penguin. That man is a beast at making deals. And I think Connor Rogers put this tweet out that if the Jets win any games, then songs will be written and sung about Joe Douglas and what he was able to get for Sam Darnold. The Jets, of course, have to win games or it means nothing, obviously. None of these trades mean anything, but that's a very good point by Connor Rogers. And, man, he is good. William on Facebook, what's up, boy Green? What's poppin', baby? Welcome to the show. M. Morris, Carolina killed this trade. $10 million from Browns, $5 million from Panthers. I'm not surprised. The Browns had 0 leverage. So the Panthers drew their line in the sand and said, we'll take Baker Mayfield, but I mean, this is it. We'll give you a conditional pick and we'll see what the conditions are on the pick. Probably playing time incentives or performance incentives, one or the other probably. But to be honest with you, I mean, they had no leverage. I'm surprised the Panthers even paid that, to be honest, because, again, it's just that's one of those situations. Oh, here's the rest of it from MM Morris. Baker had to eat $3 million to make the deal happen. And I'm sure for Baker, for all parties, quite frankly, the Browns blew it, but at least they save a little bit of coin. Not much, but they do save a little bit with basically $8 million, I guess, technically speaking, because $5 million from the Panthers, $3 million from Baker. So they do save $8 million. So good for the Browns to even get that. I'm surprised they even got that much out of it, to be honest with you, MM Morris. But for the Panthers, if you want to bring in a quarterback, which obviously they are here as competition, he needs to get proper time here. Training camp for veterans, they don't have to report for like another 20-ish days. It varies on the team, but it's all basically the same. So in 3 weeks, so Baker, to have a legitimate shot, is going to have to learn. Sam Darnold will have kind of the edge because obviously he will know the offense, but we'll kind of see what happens there. Although it's a new offense because Ben McAdoo is down there. That's all of this is just funny. I don't know, but wow, the Panthers killed the trade. Don't get me wrong. They gave up like nothing to get Baker Mayfield, but I'm surprised the Browns got what they got, to be honest. NY Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. This shit can't be made up. No, it can't. So again, the Jets have to win games to really bask in this, but I'll bask in this. John Hepburn, Trader Joe works his magic again. That's just excellent, 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 excellent. And way to go, Joe Douglas. So we'll see what other magic he has. Remember, perhaps even one of, so you had the Jamal Adams one. That's impressive. Sam Darnold one. That's impressive. And he traded Blake Cashman for a 6. I even forget that he did that. And Chris Herndon for a 4th, who's doing nothing. And he's a free agent right now. Back to Justin Jets. Very smart trade for Panthers. I can't believe they were the only team willing to take a chance on Baker. He's better than at least 15 quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, Baker's super talented. Again, when I read some of those numbers, he's had 14,000 passing yards. He's got essentially a 2-to-1 touchdown reception ratio. I think it's a little bit of everything with Baker, to be honest with you. So the Browns were in a tough spot, so you're not just going to help out the Browns. So you want to get them as cheaply as possible. And then the other thing, Baker's got a personality, and that's going to rub some people the wrong way. I like Seattle having Geno Smith. I thought with Baker Mayfield and DK Metcalf could have been nice with some of the talent there. But, the Seahawks are going to try to do what they do. And they believe in Drew Lock for better or for worse. So, but I hope Geno gets a chance up there in Seattle. But, yeah, I think Baker is talented. And, man, I'm not going to go as far. I saw on Twitter someone said, wow, Baker to the Panthers. Panthers are a playoff team. The NFC isn't great, but, man, Baker's a good quarterback. We'll see kind of what happens there. And, yeah, John, I mentioned it earlier, the Panthers play the Browns week 1. That is freaking hilarious. So I am looking forward to that. I will circle that one. Of course, we got to watch our Jets-Ravens game week 1. But when the Jets aren't playing and there's a game to circle, I think they probably both play at 1 o'clock. But that's a game I'll have circled. I'll be watching intently. NY Jets Mets Nick Survivor. I was a Sam believer. So glad JD did what was best for the team now and in the future. And JD Jets trust 100%. I will say that again. I was also a Sam truther. I thought that with Mike LaFleur and this offense, like he could reach another level, but there had been multiple years of him not reaching that level. That man. Well, let's play it out here because Sam Darnold ended up being did not play well for Carolina. So if the Jets keep him, they don't take Zach Wilson. So they take whoever, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, whoever, right? Which would have been fun. But you take whoever that is, then you go into this past year's quarterback class and you look at Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, gross. And then it's that spinning quarterback cycle that you would have been screwed with. So I'm glad that Joe Douglas did what he did because Zach Wilson is immensely talented, obviously. So 100%. Let's go to another one here. Jay Spector. Sam, another USC quarterback bust. He will be in a TV booth before under center again. I mean, we will see. Again, I believe he's going to have the edge early because Baker Mayfield's got to learn the system, but I don't think it'll be long because it is a stark contrast. Again, I read the stats. I'll do it again because we have a lot more people in the room. That here is the Mayfield to Darnold numbers. They came in together. Remember, Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall pick, Sam Darnold, number 3 overall pick. So they have the same sample size of time. Now, Sam Darnold was a little bit more injured, but again, you can't control that. Here are the stats. Mayfield has 92 touchdowns to 56 picks. Darnold, in that same span, 54 touchdowns to 52 picks. He has 4 less picks. That's good, I guess, but also like 38 less touchdowns. Like, good Lord. And then, again, Baker Mayfield has 4,000 yards more passing. Like, it's just brutal. But there has been some bad ones. So Carson Palmer was the last really good one I could think of. Matt Leinart busted out. Sanchez, again, for what he did, I will always hold Sanchez in high regard. But John David Booty, there's several UFC guys that have not done well, though. That's a fair point. Malcolm Harper, as a diehard Jets fan, we're once again the winners of the Sam Darnold trade. Absolutely. There's no other way to slice this puppy. 100%. They are the winners of the Sam Darnold trade. I thought it then, and I think it even more so now. Jay Spector, will they continue with the Baker Mayfield commercials? That's a good question. Most of them are Browns related or they're at First Energy. So, I don't know how that works. That he's not going to be on the team. I've been seeing the commercials, so I don't know if they transfer all that to Carolina. I'm not sure how that works, but excellent. The questions we all need to be answered. Hot Sauce Jerk. Geno didn't look too bad when he stepped in for Wilson last year. No, I'm a Geno Smith guy. I am a Geno Smith truther, man. I am rooting so hard for him. Drew Lock, I do not think is very good, and I'm glad Geno Smith is going to get a chance, I hope, to be the starting quarterback. And they got some talent, man. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and we can only hope and see what he does over there in the Pacific Northwest. I am a Geno Smith guy. John Hepburn, we almost drafted Mayfield. I'm glad we have a quarterback with Zach's personality. That is true. When we were heading into that draft, so at that point, I did an afternoon radio show called Drive Time Sports here in Syracuse. And every week from the end of the Super Bowl to the draft, I did a mock draft Monday on the show. And the Jets, remember, in March, they traded from 6 to 3. So they're sitting at 3, but we obviously had no idea who was going to be there on the board. The Giants were pretty stuck on Saquon Barkley, so we thought leading in. And we all expected the Browns to take Sam Darnold. So to me, I was like, okay, we're going to have Baker Mayfield. The T-shirts are getting printed, Broadway Baker, and all these other things. I thought he had the right personality to basically do what he did in Cleveland for the Jets. That go to this city that's not been very good for a while and come in and inject the personality, similar to Rex Ryan, and give the town exactly what it needed. So I was pretty convinced that Baker Mayfield was going to be the guy. The one guy I didn't want was Josh Allen, and we know how that's turned out. And there was also the Rosen one T-shirts too. I think maybe Gotham City Crew or something had those out, so that was kind of fun to think about as well. So that was a little bit there, but no, I thought Mayfield was going to be the guy, and I was kind of excited about him, to be honest with you. But no, I am excited for Zach Wilson. It should be a doozy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happened here. Jay Spector, JD took advantage of the Panthers. I'll get the PG version here for our audio listeners for 2, 4, and 6, and those numbers at first based on the value. Basically, I was really convinced. I pounded the table that offseason 2021 saying the Jets will get a first for Sam Darnold. Now, ultimately, they didn't, but a 2, 4, 6, I mean, you could basically translate that to a first. So, but that would have been interesting. But he did. He got great value there. All right, NY Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. Here's a tough question. What do you think would have happened if we traded Mayfield instead of Sam? If we traded Mayfield instead of Sam. Traded for Mayfield? And maybe I don't understand the question. I could just be a big dumb idiot. NY Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. What do I think would have happened if we traded Mayfield instead of Sam? I'm not really sure I understand that question, so I'll need you to kind of rephrase that for me to understand that. I'm not sure. Melvin, 19 million. Sam is making out like a fat cat. Sure he is. Yeah, he's going to be paid basically. It's 18 million and a half, and it's all fully guaranteed now in the new CBA. So, sit on the bench for 20 million, and then he could probably be a backup if he wants to in the league. Probably, I would imagine. He's a good kid, and I think people like that in the locker room if that's where he kind of transitions. So, no one's got to cry Sam Darnold any rivers, that's for sure. Let's go Martino on YouTube. The way Sanchez diced up the Bengals back when they had some strong secondaries, I thought he was Hall of Fame bound. Yeah, I remember when Mark Sanchez was drafted. Remember the Jets were at 17. They jumped up from 17 to 5. I'm a draft freak. I remember all those stories. And we were thinking Josh Freeman or like Hakeem Nicks maybe at 17. And we move up to 5 and we get Sanchez. I remember John Gruden, who was doing, Gruden grinders and the quarterback stuff. He was saying, oh boy, you got a new Drew Brees here. Drew Brees, phenomenal. Hall of Famer. Great. Awesome. I love me some Drew Brees. That's great. And it was funny because 09, right, he's like terrible. Probably like 12 touchdowns, 20 picks. And it's run game defense. And then and he had a couple of wow throws, of course. If you remember the AFC Championship game, play action, pump fake, and then rips it to Braylon Edwards down the left sideline for the touchdown to put us up like 17-6 or something. And all of a sudden, I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl, baby. We're going. So Sanchez had some wow throws even in those games. But in the second season, where they kind of turned the keys to the franchise over to him, they still had LT and a bunch of running game. But I thought Sanchez was about to take off. And I still can't believe basically he only played 4 years. You throw the injured year out. Like, man, Sanchez should have been here longer instead of all the Tebow stuff and everything that happened there. Vinny and the Jets. Paul, I got tickets for week 1 versus Baltimore. Will you be in attendance? That is a great question, Vinny. I have not committed to any tickets yet. I've not committed to any games yet, but I want to go. And week 1 is one I certainly have circled. I still have details to figure out. Some people, I'm here a Jets hanger and people doing like the party things and going. I want to go. I want to go for sure. We'll see if it kind of puts itself together. Let's see. Rashawn Joshi here. Let's be real. All of us Jet fans saw the trade, ran to Boy Green's channel just to say, that's basically what this is. Again, this is my podcast, which just kind of worked out with timing. I would have done a video if it wasn't my podcast day, but every Wednesday we come out with a new episode, and So I do radio from 10 to 12 in Syracuse. It's about 45 minutes to an hour to get back home. I get home, I grab some lunch before I do the podcast. And as I'm getting my lunch and kind of eating it, I'm eating tacos, okay? They're like a Doritos Locos tacos, homemade style. And I'm eating some tacos, and all of a sudden I get, ba-ding! Oh, Baker Mayfield traded the Panthers. I'm like, honey, I got to finish these tacos, and I got to go do a podcast. We got to do a show, baby. We got to talk about this. And then hopped on over. So I love that this is a first stop for a lot of Jet fans as we can kind of laugh together. That's great. But yes, Rashad. So laugh, Jet fans. Enjoy this moment. This is great. This is great. Melvin, whoever saw this happening, Darnold and Baker on the same team. Jeesh. NFL is so brutal. And yeah, Browns versus Panthers in week 1. You can't make this stuff up. Again, this schedule was made in May, people. But you might as well have said it was made today. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's going to be a funny game. And yeah, who would have thought? And they're both in the rookie contracts. That's unbelievable. Baker's in his 5th-year option. Sam Darnold's in his 5th-year option. They're on the same team. They were the top 3. They were 2 of the top 3 picks in the 2018 NFL draft. There's no way that's ever happened before. Like, that is wild. So way to go, man. That's phenomenal. And Melvin, you're right. Bill Joe Diaz statue ASAP. I am all aboard. That's just unbelievable. Let's go to Eric Fajardo here. I think we need to give Sal and JD at least 2 more seasons together, regardless of outcome. Continuity breeds culture, and it's about time we build a dynasty. Eric, I love this. I have to say, I love this leadership group of Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas. I love the trades that Joe Douglas has done. I love the drafting outside of 2020, which was kind of it was his first year ever, and it was a COVID year, so they didn't have all the information. Again, not trying to make an excuse, but to try to squint to try to understand why it's been such a flop so far. But again, if Mekhi Becton ends up being a superstar, then that draft looks a lot differently. I would love to see them stick with this group, but you got to win football games. And that's the key. We need to see a legitimate step. If they're picking first overall or top 3, heads are going to roll. They're going to have to. But I want continuity. I don't want to keep the revolving door at head coach. I love Robert Saleh, and I really like Joe Douglas. I love Joe Douglas. I love them both, and I hope that they're the guy. Jay Spector. Oh, pick Mayfield instead of Sam. Oh, if he somehow is, I see what you're saying. So, like, number 1 pick would have been Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield to the Jets. Baker Mayfield's been good, man. I mean, look at the stats. I mean, they speak for themselves. But, man, what would have happened? But, again, the problem is, so Baker Mayfield has proven to be a better quarterback, obviously, thus far. But the problem is that the Jets didn't surround Sam Darnold with enough talent, so that same issue would have been there for Baker, who has been battered, beaten, and bruised. I think the fans would have loved him. They love Sam for a different reason, but I think they would have loved Baker because he would have rallied. He would have been Rex Ryan-ish, and I think fans fall in love with that kind of stuff. So, I think there would have been some higher moments, some more consistency. Like Sam Darnold had some moments. I was at the Jets-Cowboys game where he had that rocket launcher play-action pass to Robbie Anderson, and I saw it before the play, and I was at MetLife on that game, and him coming back from mono, and we're us thinking it's the next coming of something. So we probably would have had a few more stats, but maybe a harder decision in terms of the Mayfield trade. Would we have traded Mayfield for Zach Wilson? Or would there have been enough shown there by Mayfield? Probably so, where you don't ever trade. And then maybe that number 2 pick, like I've said before, maybe that's Jamar Chase. Maybe that's Kyle Pitts. And who knows what would have happened last year at that. So I love the NFL. The Dave Damashek, I used to do that for NFL.com. I used to love watching the NFL. If you change just one thing, what are the ripple effects of everything else? So I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff. Vinny and the Jets. Remember the 2018 quarterback class being compared to the legendary 1983 class? What a joke. Yeah, because the 5 were, so you had Baker Mayfield, who's been his stats have been very good, but obviously hit and miss because he's just been traded. Sam Darnold, unfortunately, has been a bust so far. You have Josh Allen, who's been a megastar, so he's been an MVP level guy and a great development. Again, shout out to the Buffalo Bills for making that happen. Josh Rosen been a complete bust. And 5th has been Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, an MVP. So not quite 1983, not quite Ken O'Brien, Dan Marino, okay, John Elway, not quite that kind of class, but 2 are like mega stars, and then 1 is in Baker is kind of meh, And then Sam Darnold is another meh, but to a much lesser level. And then Josh Rosen is just nothing. So, yeah, but not quite 1983, but not bad. I've seen much worse quarterback class. Do you guys remember, what was that, 2013 with E.J. Manuel? So, yikes. And I got you now. Drafted. Yeah, like I said earlier, NY Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. I think there would have been some more splash and a tougher decision in April, 2021 April, to trade him or keep him. I think they may have kept him, and thus that number 2 pick either would have been traded for a bounty or Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts would have been drafted. That's my thought. Jay Spector, Sanchez played red light, green light with his band. He played on a stud team and couldn't bring them across the finish line. Yeah, that's a part that gets me. Several of those moments. I remember looking at the sideline. Red means no, like, be conservative, and green light, yeah, be aggressive. Like, come on. It's a number 5 pick. Like, that's embarrassing. Those were some embarrassing moments there. Let's see. Terrence, Wilson made every throw and then some. Wild to hate. And doubt. I don't get it. Please explain. If you're talking about Zach Wilson, he did not make every throw, but I am a big Zach Wilson fan. I think he is going to make a massive jump. So I am excited for that. I am absolutely excited for that. Jay Spector. Zach played with practice squad wide receivers the last 5 games, had a better stretch than Darnold. I'm not, well, the Tampa Bay game was great, obviously, in that 5-game stretch. Sam Darnold had some moments. I remember the Houston game, Green Bay game, and there's one more. It was like a 3-game pack that I remember. Maybe Vikings? I don't know. But it was like a 3-game set. They looked really good, like, whoa. But that Zach Wilson Tampa Bay one is one to feel really good about. And Buffalo Jet fan yelling, Boy Green! And by the way, I mentioned it earlier. For any of you who missed it, I'm doing a brand new show on the Buffalo Jet fan YouTube channel. We're working on the name, but every Monday from 8 to 9 o'clock, it'll be a live show. We'll be answering mailbag questions. He'll be setting up topics. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want more Boy Green, go to the Buffalo Jet fan every Monday night. If you don't, I perfectly understand. I'm an acquired taste, as some would say. John Hepburn, Carolina should trade for Barkley, get the trifecta. Wouldn't that be funny? I don't believe that's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey, but I like the cut of your jib, John. I like the cut of your jib. Knobcraft. The Baker trade will go down as the Browns' biggest boner faux pas when Watson gets drummed out of league for misconduct. That could be. That could be a real Debbie Downer. I mean, we're going to have to kind of see, obviously, what happens with Watson. But Watson, without any of the other stuff, which, again, I understand you can't separate it, but just purely as a football player, I mean, he's a superstar quarterback. But all the other stuff, obviously, you have to factor in. We've had plenty of players in NFL history that have been superstars on the field but can't handle their crap off of it, whether, they get into trouble or they can't manage their finances or whatever. So there's some sad stories out there. But no, I mean, hey, man, Watson's, you know what? The Lord above and the NFL, they're going to rain hellfire on Watson, and we'll see kind of what happens there. But my guess is like an 8-game suspension for Watson, something in that ballpark. I think NFLPA and NFL fight for that because it's kind of a unique case because it's a new level of the CBA with the new rules, so it'll set precedent. But we'll see what happens. Melvin, we need to win 7+ games this year. It's a must. Again, that's what I need to see. I can't endure. Like, I can literally endure it because we've endured a lot of crap, but, like, I can't be satisfied with a 5-win season, a 6-win season. I need to see legitimate change. 7+ games and you're in games. Like, you're not getting blown out left and right. And to me, I believe the playoffs are possible with the 7-team conference. 7 teams from your conference making the playoffs. I'm sorry, I can't speak, which is, by the way, a prerequisite for doing a show, so I've heard. Let's keep going here. A lot of comments in here. Melvin, Sam just stinks. He's a backup all day. And not bad money being a backup quarterback. I've heard that could be some of the best jobs in the world. Jack on YouTube, Jack Dorsman. Although Sam hasn't shown much promise for the Panthers, you got to feel for the guy. 100%. Sam is a great dude. I'll keep it forever. I was considering what I should do with it, but I'm going to keep it forever. Sam Darnold, when he got drafted by the Jets, and I gave this crazy reaction, when he walked off stage, he autographed a hat, a draft hat, and then the NFL, the official NFL social media auctioned it off. Not auctioned it off. They kind of gave it away as a contest, and I won it, and it's in a glass case over in my man cave. So 100%. And he's a great kid. He's a great kid. It just hasn't worked out. So I feel for the kid more than anything else. But yeah, I feel for the kid, and I really hope maybe he beats out Baker Mayfield. I don't think so, but maybe, and maybe still shows he has something left in the tank, or maybe he ends up going somewhere else as a backup. Starter gets injured, and then he pops later. Knobcraft, Sam sees more ghosts than Scooby Doo. Ah, come on, Knob, that poor guy. He's never going to get over that. Thanks, Monday Night Football. Thanks, ESPN. Melvin, what's going to happen with those Baker Progressive commercials? Well, I believe a lot of those are staged in First Energy Stadium, if that's still the name of the Browns stadium. Actually, I think they changed that name, but all these stadiums are changing their names now. But yeah, I think most of them are staged inside the Browns stadium, so they're going to have to work around that. I don't think they're going to keep those running. And OMG, Robbie wants out. I wrote a story about this on the Heavy on Jets page, and yikes. So Robbie Anderson, in case you missed it, so there's been a lot to unpack with Robbie Anderson. So earlier this offseason, Ian Rappaport says, wow, the Carolina Panthers are like a front runner to land Baker Mayfield like months ago. And Robbie Anderson on Instagram goes, no! He messages that on Instagram. And then a Panthers fan page goes, wow, Robbie has no chill, and shows his comment. And he goes, facts. And then so obviously he doesn't want to play with Baker Mayfield. And then, like, as the possibility is coming up here, the reporters ask Robbie, hey, what's up with that? He's like, oh, I was just defending my quarterback. So he's backpedaling faster than the cornerback there. And then, like, Robbie says he's pondering retirement at 29, then deletes the tweet and says, hey, I'm just speaking my mind, but I'm all here. I'm here, aren't I? Like, it's been weird, man. I miss the Sun God in a lot of respects. He gave us some wow plays. We always question whether or not he's a number one receiver or not, but there's a soft place in my heart for Robbie Anderson. Undrafted Temple product, makes it in the NFL. There's a lot I like about him. Let's see. NYJ, Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. That's exactly what I meant. And great answer. But do you think JD would have traded Baker? I don't think so. If we switch the scenarios, right? It's 2021, right? We're heading into that offseason. Jets have the number 2 pick. I don't believe, based on a talent I've seen thus far from Baker Mayfield, that he would have been traded the same way Sam Darnold was. I believe he would have saw Baker and the talent and say, you know what? I think we, outside of personality, I don't know if any personality thing clashes and changes that perspective, but my gut, playing this hypothetical game, I think Baker stays, and that number 2 pick is either traded or used on like a Jamar Chase or something. All right, again, wherever you guys are watching, make sure you do me a favor, hit thumbs up on YouTube. Even if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, throw over the YouTube and subscribe. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. You can see it on the scrolling ticker. Show your support. And we do a fresh new episode of the Jet Zone every Wednesday here on the program. And also feel free to interact wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. For Twitter, you have to jump in to one of the other channels so I can see your comment on StreamYard, but we'll bring you up on the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to give a super chat where you can skip the line, guarantee your comment gets answered, and throw a little monetary tip in the jar to throw some change so we can put the bacon on the table. But no, NYJ, I do not believe he would have traded Baker. Melvin, Joe got a 2nd, 4th, and 6th for Sam Baker, only a conditional 5th. Joe D is a pimp. I believe it. I believe it. It is phenomenal. Now, as Melvin says, hit the like button, baby. Booyah. Makes a tremendous difference. Appreciate you. Hot Sauce Jerk, not a Baker fan, but man, this dude needs some continuity in his coaching staff. Hasn't he had different coaches during his time in Cleveland? Yeah, head coach, he had Hugh Jackson. You had like Todd Haley as his offensive coordinator, a revolving door, man. I don't know if he was quite there for Shermer, but again, I think it was just Hugh Jackson and then everybody else, Freddie Kitchens and then Stefanski. Yeah, it's been a nightmare for the poor guys. So hopefully it gets continuity. It's not quite as bad as Alex Smith. Remember his revolving door in San Francisco, but it's pretty bad. And he's super talented and he's shown some pop, which I think is important. Let's go Jay Spector. Joe D did his job. Sal and LaFleur need to do their magic. 100%. Joe D put a competitive roster here on the table, and now they need to make some things happen. So Zach Wilson, Salah getting the defense right with Jeff Ulbrich, all that's important for sure. Jay Spector. Watson hasn't played in over a year. What makes everyone think he'll come in to be Brady? I don't think it's like a Space Jam scenario. He's been gone a year and his superpowers are taken away. He's still a really talented quarterback, but I think there will be rust, and we'll see whatever the suspension is. But Yeah, I just think I think the world that Deshaun Watson is a football player, and I want to make that clear. As a football player, as a human being, that is TBD based on things we've heard. But as a football player, he's exceptional. So it'll be up to him to determine what he's going to be. But I don't know Brady, but he's really good. He was a top 5 quarterback in football, I would think. This is so great. Yes, enjoy this, Jet fans. It is. Melvin, PJ Walker beats them both in training camp. Wouldn't that be funny? Unlikely based on the contractual commitments by both sides, but I would love that. PJ Walker, that'd be funny. Let's see. Young Stench. Sam was never the guy, guys. I'd rather have had Baker. At least Baker has passion for the game. Yeah, Sam Darnold is a little, what's the best way to put that? Like he's just, there's not that fire that you see all the time from Sam that obviously is like palpable with Baker. So that's a good point. John Hepburn, Darnold is the new Fitzpatrick, which, by the way, is not a bad gig. He floated around between like 15 teams and made millions of dollars as like a backup. That could be nice. He hasn't quite had the success of Fitzpatrick. Remember the 2015 year where he broke franchise records, but maybe. Hawk on YouTube. Welcome in, Hawk. We love having you in. I liked Robbie, but the moment he scored against us and did the jet fly celebration mocking us, he was dead to me. He's also locker room cancer. Keep him away from this team. Yeah, that one hurt. But again, I don't, whatever ill will was there because the Jets didn't pay up before free agency. He gets to free agency and gets his money from Carolina. Oof, that hurt. Seeing Sam Darnold bottle rocket a beautiful throw to Robbie and scores like a 50-yard touchdown, like that hurt. I knew that was coming heading into Jets week 1, but that one hurt. And there is, again, part of the other part of the story is Robbie Anderson threatened retirement, probably because of his quarterback situation. And then he, according to DJ Bieneme, was interested in a reunion with the Jets. The Jets are deep at wide receiver, which I never thought I would say, and he would fit a vertical passing element, but that's not going to happen. So no worries there. No worries there. He will not be coming, but that's funny. Let's keep going here. Young Stench, Robbie is all ass, no grades. I don't think I've ever heard that line, but okay. I like it. I think he is a bit of a one-trick pony, and obviously the frustrations last year were rough to see. Patrick Volpe. Paul, do you think we will sign anyone before camp? Yes, I do think so. Quan Alexander, I think, is going to be under contract. I'd be surprised if he isn't. Let's see. Who else? So Quan Alexander at linebacker. I want a veteran offensive tackle. Who is that? Is that Riley Reif? Dwayne Brown's out there. Riley Reif has versatility, which I like. He can play both left and right. That's good. Dwayne Brown is exclusively a left tackle in the NFL. He's played like 99% of his snaps at left tackle. The other 1% is like a jumbo tight end. So he's played like no right tackle. So what you have to ask yourself is, with that debate, with Dwayne Brown, you get the better player, which is good. But to sign Dwayne Brown, you won't get the versatility. So if Mackay or George Fant goes down, you can't just throw Dwayne anywhere. He can only be your left tackle. So you got to feel really good about whoever is the other tackle. Now, according to Connor Rogers, who, by the way, we'll have on the show here in a little bit, not today, in the near future, keep an eye out for that. But he believes Max Mitchell, the Jets' 4th-round pick out of Louisiana, is exclusively a right tackle. And if that's true and they feel good about him, then maybe Dwayne Brown's the right signing, because you'll have your left tackle if someone gets injured. You'll have your right tackle if someone gets injured. If you don't have that same level of faith in Mitchell, then you probably got to sign Reif so you cover your ass. But so 100% I think Quan Alexander is going to be a member of the Jets. Not if, I think it's when. I'd like personally a offensive tackle. We'll see if the Jets feel the same way. And then, you could argue about safety. You could argue about a run-stuffing defensive tackle. I'm not sure if the Jets do that. But 100% Quan, and we'll see what else happens. I'll say that. Ragna, sitting here, listening to Paul, my thoughts drifting to the Ravens game, seeing Zach nailing it, our new guys on O&D killing it, we win, and Jet fans losing their crap, crazy excitement. It would remind me of, I'm not sure if it's going to be this emphatic. That would be nice. I think the Jets can 100% beat the Ravens, by the way. I don't think that's some sort of death nail impossible game. I think the Ravens are a very unique offense, not to get week 1 breakdown chat on July 6th, but I think they could definitely win that game. But the fact of the matter is, when the Jets played the Buffalo Bills, I can't remember the year, but they blew them out. Like, whatever that year was in the preseason, the Jets scored like no points. And there's a lot of chatter like, wow, this Jets offense is going to suck this year. And then the first game, they beat the Bills like 48-17 or something. I mean, they beat the bricks. I remember like Jeremy Curley scoring a touchdown. I think Antonio Cromartie had like a pick six. Like, that's what I want. I want like that kind of performance for us to just go over the moon. And then we're heading into the week 2 game against like Jacoby Brissett. Imagine if the Jets kick the barn doors down on the Baltimore Ravens. Then they beat the Browns. They're 2-0 heading into a Bengals game that they beat with their C team last year. Whoa. Talk about the hype train, too. The Jets, by the way, for those who don't know, this is like pathetic. The Jets haven't won a September game since 2018. That's how is that even a real statistic? And I had to look it up to make sure it was real. The Jets haven't won a September game in years, which again goes to show you that we're just used to, in recent memory, these 0-0 starts, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. Like, it sucks. It's time to change that narrative. So let's get a September win. I would like that. NYJ Mets, not even 10 likes. Hit it, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Hit that like button. Makes a tremendous difference on the old YouTube, baby. That'd be nice. Let's see. Melvin, Le'Veon sat out a year. We all see what happened to him. Not every case is the same, but that's a good point. That is a point. And what Patrick said, hit the like button, people. I love it. Keep it coming, baby. This is great. And what I just said, Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. Without watching, we can be 2-0 after a week 1 win, baby. I like it. And then you head into week 3 and just see what happens. That could be great. Jet fans will go crazy. Yes, they will. That would be amazing. Young Boy KK or Young Boy KK. Or LIKK. I can't really see it. It's not coming across here. I actually give the Jets a really good chance to make the playoffs. No cap. Brady fan. Okay, welcome to the show, baby. That'd be nice. Haven't been there in 11 years. The NFL's the longest active playoff drought. That would be great. Let's go. Young Stench. Why haven't we signed Quan yet? Is it medicals, price tag, or both? Here it is, Young Stench. I'll say medicals, while I don't. For instance, Larry Ogunjobi, I know his trainer. So I felt pretty good about the medicals because his trainer told me he's good. So I'm like, all right, he's good. I don't have Quan's trainer information. It's kind of sporadic, the trainers that I kind of come into contact with. So I can't completely waive the medicals. But to me, here are the things. It's price tag is like the Jets didn't offer him $100 million. Spoiler alert. They offered him whatever I don't have the financial terms in front of me, but the Jets have offered him a deal. They've said, hey, Quan, we'd be willing to pay you this to be on the Jets. And they said, hey, you could sign it now. You could sign it at training camp. You could sign it whenever with this. And because it's not $100 million that he's getting offered, to me, I think Quan is just saying to himself, hey, maybe the same thing that happened with Larry Ogunjobi happens to me. And what do I mean by that? Larry Ogunjobi also had a deal from the Jets. They said, here's how much we'll pay you. And Larry's like, okay, I'll sit on that. Then a surprise retirement happens in Pittsburgh. All of a sudden, the supply-demand thing for defensive tackles, Pittsburgh gets aggressive, says, hey, Larry, we'll sign you right now. We'll give you $8 million. He's like, sorry, that's higher than the Jets. See you, Jets. Same thing for Quan. If some sort of linebacker injury happens, Quan, by not, like, he benefits zero by signing now. Like, the Jets offer that is on his desk is here on July 6th. It's going to be here on July 26th. So Quan is in no rush to sign it because why? There's no veterans don't report till I believe it's the 27th. So there is no rush for Quan to sign said deal. So while we all, Jet fans, going, man, Quan, sign with the Jets and keep doing it. That's great. I love the support and all that craziness to get him to sign. But it is, from what I understand, it's not medicals. Its price tag isn't exorbitant, and nor should it be. And for Quan, he's playing his game. He's like, hey, man, if I know this deal is going to be here, I'm going to see if anyone can beat it. If no one beats it, I'll just simply sign the deal ahead of camp, and booyah, here we are. That's how I believe I see it. VR Hell Dago. Sup, Jet brothers and sisters. Welcome to the show, VR. Appreciate it. Let's see. Let's keep going down here. The chat. Answer a couple more questions here. VR Hell Dago. Lego. JD proven he went in all trades and taking names, kicking ass and chewing bubble gum. And he's all out of bubble gum, baby. I love it. Joe Douglas has been doing that work. Now we need to see that with the wins. Melvin, do you think we need to add a biggin for the defensive line for run stop purposes? If it was up to me, Melvin, I would. I would add some big, juicy hog molly. Whoever that is, there's a variety of guys out there that we have discussed with Ogunjobi off the board. A guy I would like if he ends up shaking free later is like a Maurice Hurst. He's not as big. He's a smaller defensive tackle. But he's a guy I like, Maurice Hurst, former Michigan boy. But if you want just a pure, like, run clogging kind of guy, there are those kind of big boys out there that you could go chase and kind of bring in one of those guys. I mean, let's bring up, we might as well here on the show. Let's bring up the NFL free agents that are available right now. And I just want to double check here. Let's see. Is there a big boy that I'm not thinking about that is available? Let me just pull up what we got here. Let me just kind of filter through the top free agents available here. Sheldon Richardson is a guy I would like. He's on the board, a former first-round pick. He's been really good against the run throughout his career. He's a guy that's high on my list. I'd love Sheldon making a return as long as, the personality and all that's good. Star Latuale is another one in Buffalo, 32 years old. Linval Joseph, I believe, is another one according to this list that is still available. He's a big nasty. Linval Joseph is on this list. Let me see. Who else? Is there anyone big, major that I'm missing? Eddie Goldman apparently is still out there. But, yeah, I mean, the top guy on my list would be Sheldon Richardson. I've always loved the talent. I think he's a freak, athletically speaking. And he has been great against the run, historically speaking. So I would love to see that. So a big one I would love, and the Jets have sniffed around. They sniffed around DJ Jones. They sniffed around BJ Hill. Apparently anyone with a nickname of some sort. My nickname used to be growing up PJ, so DJ, AJ, CJ, QJ. I don't know, but they seem to have an affinity for that sort of thing. So we'll see. They've been sniffing around a couple of guys, which normally means they'll do it. If they stay in-house, Jonathan Marshall, the former sixth-round pick out of Arkansas, is the guy to watch out for. They really like him inside the building, so he could be a guy that pops. Dark Soldier Crew! Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. Jet Zone right here on YouTube, Facebook, the Jet Zone, Twitter, the Jet Zone. And, of course, if you're listening to our audio-only version, wherever you find your podcast, Sports War Radio. Let's see. Let's keep going through. That's another one. That's a good one. NYJ Mets Nick Survivor would be great if we got Sue. Sue-wee! I love Sue. Sue would be amazing. Sue is a guy that he wasn't on that list, but Sue would be a guy I love. The Jets have flirted with him in the past. They've tried to bring him in the past. There's a Todd Bowles connection, and Tampa Bay door was shut. They are no longer bringing home Suey. But depending on what he's looking for, apparently there's no interest from the Raiders. So, again, he's just nasty and really good and would bring an energy, would bring an intensity that it seems like the Jets are trying to bring in their room. So I would love Sue. He's just a really, really good player. Money, of course, would depend on would he want to play for a team like the Jets. That's another thing he has to potentially come to grips with. Stephen Engel, if these free agents you want so bad, why is nobody else signing them? Sounds to me they aren't that good. I will tell you, Stephen, that all free agents available right now have a bugaboo. They have some reason that they're a free agent. Why is the insert player a free agent? Why is that guy a free agent? Character concerns. Not for these guys in particular, I'm just throwing out. Character concerns, injury concerns, price tag. Some guys say, I want $1 kajillion. And the teams all go, well, we'll give you $5 million. And the player has to have a sense of realization to work from his kajillion dollars to $5 million. There's all kinds of reasons why guys would be available. And I want to make this clear that any Suey, Sheldon Richardson, Quan Alexander, they're hanging out there for a reason. I'm not saying that you add them, they're going to be an all-pro with the Jets. We're not wearing green-colored glasses from that perspective on here. So they all have issues. But again, Quan waiting for more money. Sue is certainly waiting for more money. Again, there is no rush to sign any of these guys from that perspective. So they just want to do whatever they can, quite frankly, to get the most money that they can. And by the way, I don't blame them. I'm not mad at Quan. Quan, why didn't you sign yesterday? Like, I would love Quan here. I think he's a great personality. I think he would mesh with the locker room, but hey, Quan's got to do him. It's a business, baby. Go get your money. If you could get money higher from somebody else, go get it. But I think there's a great relationship there between him and Saleh, which I think ultimately will lead to his signing. I am willing to almost near guarantee it, but the only reason I don't officially guarantee it is because obviously anything can happen. He could be re-injured. Another team could offer him more money. Anything could happen, but I think that's going to happen. If I was a betting man, which occasionally I am, I would lay some bones that Quan Alexander will be a member of the New York Jets. But again, to answer your question, Stephen, which is a fair question, why are these guys still out there then? Well, they all have issues. All of them do. That's why they're out there. So that's my take. Let's see. Tatiana Davis, my fiance. Hi, Dada from Zariah Luna, which, by the way, I think they're outside enjoying the weather right now as I'm doing this podcast. And we're going to go out and hang out later, go to the movies, take her out to the drive-in, going to do some of that action. Big Brother, my fiance got me into the Big Brother show. That starts tonight because I'm a freak. So a lot of stuff on the docket. So hello to my beautiful fiance and my baby, who is 5 months old, going on 6 months, almost half a year on this planet. That's kind of crazy. So shout out to Tatiana. Let's see. Dark Soldier, I must admit, I get the best greeting from Boy Green. You do. No one has been able to compete with that. I think the one guy in the Jets Lounge, P.D., he would try to get that, but nothing quite like, woo! And again, I still don't know how that happened. I don't know how that started, but it feels great. TJ, you're the flippin' Jets. You don't get to have an opinion of a real team. Pause up. Is that really your guys' hashtag? Pause up? God, I hope not. This is a Panthers fan? Pause up. Work on keep pounding thing or something. Pause up. I've never heard that in my life. Like jet up? That sounds kind of pause up. Pause up, baby. Pause up. Meow. 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 Like, come on, man. Pause up. That's the lamest thing I've ever heard. But anywho. Let's keep rolling here. VR Hill Doggo, I think right now we're running about $5 million cap room left, so we have to sign minimum type contracts. You can always work around that. Again, there's some more meat on the bone, as to say, with certain contracts, and you're able to move some moolah around. But yeah, you always want to have a little bit of money to work with during the season because you never know when an injury happens or a trade happens that you don't anticipate from that perspective. But there is enough money to make these deals happen, 100%. Okay. NY Jets, Suey has only missed 2 games his whole career. He is super reliable, super durable. And again, look at the PFF numbers. They are great against the run. So I love it. They're absolutely fantastic. Let's see. NY Jets. If Sue did come here, I would believe it be because of Saleh. Probably. I don't think the Jets have any direct connections on the coaching staff, but out of respect, certainly I think that would be in there. Yeah, Melvin. I don't know, like Melvin, or that almost sounds like from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Melvin, like an angry Melvin. Yeah, I don't even know, but I'll work on that. Yeah, I'll work on that. Melvin! Yeah, it does feel very Alvin and the Chipmunks. I don't know. We can work on that, Melvin. I appreciate you being here, though. But yeah, LOL at pause up. Pause up. That's lame. I can't believe that's a thing. But all right. Different NFL franchises, different strokes, different folks, I guess. Evil Skittles. Okay, that's a new one. Just want to pop in and say you've been great entertainment for me while at work. Thank you, brother. And jet up, baby. I love it. And that's what I try to do. We've got a lot of great Jets content creators. We've got Jake Asmans and Buffalo Jet fans and Green Beans and 24/7s. And I believe each of them provide a little something different. For me, as a sports talk radio host, as my day job, I try to get you guys to laugh, have a good time, learn a little something even. That's what I try to do. That's my shtick. Hopefully you like it. If you like it, you can physically like the video and hit subscribe and show your support and tell a Jets fan friend, even if you'd like to show more. And I got to say, it's been an absolute honor to see this podcast blow up specifically on the YouTube side. The audio side's been going on for a decade. I'm an old man now. But I got to tell you that from the video side, for us to get 1,000 subscribers during draft season to double up to get 2,000 subscribers semi-recently here, and we're soaring well beyond that. It's just so cool to see a great response from you, the fans. And by the way, we've got a great schedule lining up. I'm going to basically be doing daily videos once the season gets here in preparation of week 1 and then throughout the entire season of behind enemy line segment of talking to experts from whoever the Jets are playing, getting hopefully back into talking X's and O's, which unfortunately we have not been able to do because the Jets have not been very good. So we've been talking draft and projections and this and that. So hopefully we'll be able to mix a little bit of that in, some live streams, videos, and all kinds of stuff. So I hope you guys are going to get a little bit of that as well. All right, let's get through a couple more comments here, then we'll sign off. Jets gang. Oh, wait, whoops. Jets gang here. We need somebody who don't go for BS on D-line who's already won. That would help, and that was obviously a factor. C.J. Uzomah was just in the Super Bowl. Trying to think. Who else has made... DJ Reed has been in the playoffs. Like, those kind of guys are added to the roster. Dark Soldier, I'd be embarrassed if I said pause up. I'd leave the channel and find a new team to root for if that were me. Hey, join the Jets. Pause. No, we're not doing Paw Patrol, maybe. Oh, wow. That's what VR Heldago said. Paw Patrol fan, maybe. You know, everyone's got different things going on. So that's hilarious. Evil Skittles. No better NFL content creators than us Jet fans. You know, I am a NFL fan in general on top of my crazy Jetdom. So I don't know how the Browns community or the, Ravens community, I don't know how their content creators are. I only know the Jets because I am elbow deep, obviously. But I would put us up against anyone in the world, man. We've got great content creators. We work together. We support each other. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing. You could get whatever you'd like. Whatever you're looking for, it's out there. So love it, Evil Skittles. VR Heldago, got to block these Nick Jr. type characters. Apparently that is great. And yeah. Hey, you know what? We're an accepting people here on the channel. We're an accepting people. Evil Skittles, I usually lurk on your live stream, so this is the first time I've really said anything in your chat. I actively watch you, though, no doubt. I love it. And by the way, it's funny. They say, I don't know what the percentages are anymore, but on my Sports Talk radio show, they say that the minority are the people who call in. Like, we've got regulars on my radio show. Jamie, the FedEx guy, Steve from North Syracuse, Tommy from DeWitt, all these names from wherever they call from, right? Like Josh in Florida or whatever. And they say that that's just a small percentage of who are actually listening. And some people just enjoy the content. They hop on and they just watch and enjoy. So Evil Skittles, I was about to say, I don't think I've ever heard your name come across the docket. I try to interact with all these comments on the show. We try to anyway with their limited time, but welcome, man, and welcome to the community. I hope you guys can jump on even more and jump on and have fun. I love that. Let's see. NY Jets. Let's go through a couple more quickies here, then we'll sign off because my fiance is probably getting angry at me. I know pressure on Zach this year, but I believe the Jets defense on the clock. No question. Jeff Ulbrich certainly on the clock. Like, he needs to have results. There's no excuses. They invested talent, rebuilt the secondary. The linebackers are the same, but the defensive line's improved. All of it's improved. It's time for to put up or shut up, and we will see how they respond to that. Greg, new to the channel, but loving your content. Keep it up, boy Green. Love it, Greg. Thank you so much. And again, we have a lot of different stuff going on here during the off season. We're going to have more interviews, so check that out. We just did an interview with Jericho Cotry. I saw you also did an interview with the Official Jets podcast with Eric Allen, so you guys could check that on the channel. We did an interview with Tyler Conklin a couple weeks ago. Might check back in with Tyler and bring him back on the show. So we have fun interviews. We do these live streams every Wednesday, and we're going to be doing more live streams on top of that. So make sure you guys like the video and subscribe, so you guys get more of that. And then we do some fun videos. Like, I give you some stories that maybe you didn't hear. Quentin Williams called out Rich Cimini. I have that video on the channel, which is doing well. And other videos like that. Or like, Lawrence Cager popped at Jets training camp, and cool behind-the-scenes stories on that. So we try to give you guys a little bit of everything. But so, Greg, welcome to the show, man, and welcome. Hopefully, you guys can. I'll see a lot more of you, Greg. That's what I'm hoping for, and all you guys that are joining the channel. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up. I guess we'll just leave it here for an hour plus of Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Jets are trade winners. Booyah, chat. And we'll have more coming up. Again, next week, I have a fun interview planned. It should be recorded next Monday, I believe, is what I have on the schedule. So keep an eye out for that. Talking Jets training camp with one of the best personalities in all of sports. We'll get to that as well. And like I said, guys, make sure you show your support no matter where you're watching on our Facebook or Twitter page for the Jet Zone. Like and follow. YouTube, of course. Like button, hit subscribe. And if you guys want any of this Boy Green merch, I'll show it here. Take off Greg for a second. Boy Green shirts. We got Boy Green pint glasses for all the Boy Green. Yeah, the beard and the glasses and everything. So, guys, if you'd like to support Boy Green, make sure you dip into the Boy Green shop down below. And when you buy something, make sure you tag me on social media. I'll give you a shout out because I love the support. You guys have been great. We'll sign off today for the Jet Zone. We got more coming up here in just the near future. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Jet Zone.